I'm Victoria.
And I'm Rinalda.
And today we are doing an interview about the Budget Meal Banquet. I'm so excited to have a good conversation with my mom and just share with you about her heart behind the Budget Meal Banquet. So, Mom, today the first question I have for you is, what started your love for cooking? Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I come from a long line of wonderful cooks. I guess I would call my mom and my grandmother really chefs. They loved to cook and they enjoyed entertaining, but they also always included whoever would like to cook along with them. Mm-hmm. So I can remember when I was 4 years old, making coffee for my mom and dad with an old-fashioned percolator on the stove and toast. 4 years old. They were still in bed asleep early in the morning. And I could remember bringing it to them and I said, breakfast in bed. And they were so amazed. But my mom always, allowed me to be in the kitchen, helping her prepare anything she was making. So I really did love cooking. And I guess the joy of budget cooking is it's fun to be able to stretch your dollars and see, what you can make. It's exciting for me, especially to see how I can repurpose food, because I hate to throw away food. How to look, I love to look, at the sale ads, see what's on sale and buy them. Our local store does the buy one, get one free. And I love being able to, just make the most out of our money, because really we like to entertain. We have a lot of people in our home, and I'm always cooking meals to take to people. So the more I'm able to stretch our dollars, the more people I'm able to feed.
I really like that perspective. Mm-hmm. That's true. We have a lot of people over very frequently. Do you have any favorite meals that you've cooked that were like budget-friendly meals?
Well, I guess we have one right now that we love, a tomato basil soup. Mm-hmm. And this goes all the way back to my childhood, because it wasn't a homemade tomato basil soup. But one of my favorite meals as a little girl, I can remember my mom had these brown mugs that sort of looked like they had light tan frosting. They were very popular back in the 60s. But I can remember that my favorite lunch was a cup of Campbell's tomato soup in that mug with a grilled cheese sandwich. And to today, this is still one of my favorite meals. But we have this wonderful tomato basil soup that the ingredients are always on hand, very easy to make, and very costly friendly.
I love that recipe. I was so excited when we got it, and we've kind of just adapted and then grown it on our own.
Yes.
But it's just really nice to know that I always have a budget meal in my pantry that's inexpensive that I can whip out and make 10 minutes and feed guests if someone pops by.
And also because my mom was born right at the end of the Depression, that there was a lot of meals. I grew up in Alabama, so there's a lot of meals that my grandmother served, that my mother served, that were from the Depression era, because they had to really stretch money back then. So there's some items that we really, like potato soup. That was a big item back here in the Depression, because it's another, it's a hearty meal, and very inexpensive and everything. But there's another one, I'll have to mention this, that most people do not like, but it's sauerkraut with tomatoes and hot dogs. And I guess if you grew up eating it, then you have a love for it. And I have a love for it, served with cornbread, but no one else in my family has ever enjoyed it. So I don't ever serve it.
I think every time you've made it for us, I've said, I think I'll eat leftovers instead.
I don't think I've made it but about 3 times in the last 35 years.
I didn't like it any of those times.
No. So sometimes your budget-friendly item might not be too budget-friendly if no one wants to eat it, because I'm having to eat it all myself. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit of your heart for cooking, your heart for budgeting. Tell us about why you're excited to start a blog.
Well, I love the thought of a blog, because you're able to share your ideas with other people. And I have a lot of young girls in my life that are always asking about, how to plan a menu, how to save money. They need to stretch their dollars. They need to not only stretch their dollars, but they need menu items that are easy to prepare, because they work and they have kids, and they need things that are simple to make but are delicious.
That's a really good point.
So having a blog just gives you an opportunity to reach more people, have a larger audience. And then they can go back and, read it, watch it, listen to it.
I know, I'm excited about that. We have recipes people ask us for all the time. It's going to be so nice to just shoot you guys a link and then you have the recipe right there.
And for me, I know I have some friends in my life that when I ask for a recipe, they go, oh, this is a family jewel. We don't share. But I think that's the greatest compliment for someone to ask you for a recipe and be able to share your recipes, So I'm excited about sharing. And I'm also excited about doing it with you. I think it's going to be so much fun because we always have worked together. We've always been a good team. Victoria started cooking when she was about 4 or maybe younger, truthfully. And she's always had her hands in the kitchen doing
making
something.
A big mess.
Making a big mess. She didn't clean up, but she made. In fact, tonight we made a discovery. She cleaned up, and she says, "Mom, I must be growing up."
I think it was the first time I cleaned the kitchen in a while.
But oh my goodness, she has been an amazing, amazing cook. She made cakes and sold them. I mean, she's done all kinds of things. Very creative and really, I guess for me and my mom and my grandmother, I love cooking, but also I love to try new things.
That's been really fun.
Right, and not be scared of it. If it doesn't work or it doesn't flop, like baking soda instead of baking powder and cookies, and hey, you learn. You live and learn.
I do a lot of different cuisines, and I remember my first college apartment. It was my first night there, and I was just meeting my new roommates and their boyfriends. And after moving there, I made this giant pot of a Thai chickpea curry, and it is my favorite meal.
I love it. I love it.
I hate cooking rice. I'm not good at it. And somehow I cooked a crock pot and a giant microwave bowl's worth of rice. We had rice for weeks. We had to freeze some of it. I think we ended up throwing some of it away, which I was so sad about. But Mom afterwards was telling me that's a little bit of a brave meal to make for people that you don't really know and you don't know what they like. But I guess they liked it. They told me they did.
For us, we both love the recipe. But in our family, the other 2 or 3 really don't care for it.
No.
No. So anyway, but it's exciting to try new things and find what works and tweak recipes to make them fit your family and your taste and everything. So that's what we're going to be doing on our blog. Just learning a lot about cooking, about creativity, about hospitality.
Yes.
Any meal served with love makes a difference. And we have Budget Meal Banquet because when you serve a meal with love, it's really like a banquet.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you about the Budget Meal Banquet.
I enjoy it. I'm here for you all the time.
Thank you. And thank you guys for listening.
Yes, we can't wait.